was thinking some more about, since the actual Justice Warriors channel, where he kind of went over what happened with the Poole Vigland segment on Tim Poole's Timcast. I believe it was Timcast IRL. Because people have been asking if I would please make sure to mention what I'm citing. One of the things that I really had to sit back and I was like, no, you could see exactly when Tim really not lost his cool, but just decided, okay, well, fuck all this shit, fuck the dumb shit, and started telling a hoe her name and calling a hoe a hoe. And what it was that it was the reference that there's some kind of fan base of mixed race Tim Pool, the skater, ultra moderate guy, and it meshes with neo-Nazis. Now, the part about this that's the best of all is just to stick it to, I guess, people on the right. The left are supporting Ukraine, although they're widely reported to have a neo-Nazi, not just problem, but that the actual members of neo-Nazi militias are the ones who run every part of Ukraine, like they're the governors. But you see, that would require doing research on organizations that ascribe to fascist and Nazi ideology. And the left really doesn't do that. Because the left knows that when you start looking around like that, you start finding things that make just the left in general look bad, because fascists and socialists are offshoots of Marxist thinking. And there are actually certain completely logical ways of approaching Marxism and interpreting Marxism. But that's the issue, is because Marxists have to be dishonest about the fact that they would form a goon squad and just tell people what to do. And this is also why people like Sam will never discuss the Soviet Union. And really what this was Emma was saying, your fans hate Jews. That's really what she was saying, which is like literally the greatest curse you can lay. That's the ultimate for the left. The ultimate curse for the left is not just that, like, say you're a racist or you're sexist, but you specifically hate the Jews because you are like Adolf Hitler. Not that you hate Jews like Karl Marx did, but like his various people who followed his ideology. Because this is another issue that Marxists and people on the left don't want to get into. Jew hatred in socialism goes back to Karl Marx. Karl Marx says he thinks capitalism is the true religion of the Jews. That comes from Karl Marx. That doesn't come from somebody else later. It's just that the left and socialists don't know how to deal with this. And it really is because they have come to the point that they've exposed that thinking of the left requires that you are grossly inaccurate. Where the left died when it came to any form of accuracy, them saying, oh, scientific research says this, there was two key things. One, body acceptance. This idea that you could be grotesquely obese and not just healthy, but also that you are intrinsically beautiful because you are a fat woman. Nobody on the planet is trying to get the disgusting fat women of the United States and trying to marry them. Nobody's doing that. Nobody thinks this. This is something that the kind of crazed women of the Western world think. And then the next one, okay. like body acceptance had its own way of killing science. But then the other was this, really, was using records like the FBI's crime reports and pointing out this. It doesn't matter what you think motivates crime, which is always that the left is always talking about the motivation, the root cause. All that matters is this person was definitely victimized. The left cannot deal with that at all in any way, shape, or form. The victim, they absolutely have no problem constantly pivoting from should we protect women from criminals to but criminals are completely valid people with feelings. and Emma kept doing this, kept pivoting to the point that it was sad. I mean, after a while, it just gets sad to see this is the best that the left has. This is the best that they can do, is dodge the actual substantive issue because they desperately want to make. And then Emma went to full racism. She actually exposed herself as the typical dumbass racist. Even Tim fell for this up until very recently, that poverty causes crime. There is not a correlation between poverty and crime. There's not a correlation between even poverty and outcomes from pregnancy. Like poor black women and rich black women have the same medical issues. And like, say, poor Asian women and rich Asian women will still also have statistically the same difficulties in childbirth. Because this is constantly this issue of, because black women are oppressed and super poor, because apparently all black women are oppressed and poor. Even though half of black American adults are in the middle class. This is another one constantly, that about the desperate poverty of a group of people, and they never cite. Remember, Kevin Samuels is the only person who cited how rich or poor black people actually are. So when so the thing that I thought was very fascinating was this. The poverty creates the crime. When this is long established, there's no goddamn correlation to this. Because what she's then saying is the reason, because what this then makes is that it's not saying you have a governmental system that allows for the cartels to do what they do, and that's corruption. No, it's poverty. Those people are poor and backward, and that's why they kill each other. So it's not that they're actually quite smart, and that the cartels are made of smart people who game the system. No. You see, because it can never be intelligence, it can never be self-interest, it can never be any motivation that is quite normal, but the person who's doing it is evil. That this is an evil individual who's doing what they're doing. The left can't handle that. The left has to have categorical, easy to understand ideas of, it's because the black people are poor and they're backward, and that's why they do it. It's not that, no. There's a lot of these guys who are raised by sociopathic moms, and so they tend to become sociopathic or psychopathic at some point in life, and that there's real psychological evidence for this being something that's polygenic within a lot of black American people, and correlating to about that 2% group that commits goddamn near 60% of the violent crime in the United States. It's about 2% of the population, 1% of the population who does this. Once recidivism came up, she really didn't want to discuss this. And this is the scariest part. Mainly because of all crimes, it's crimes against women that you're going to find come from recidivists. Like rapists that's what they do. That's their crime. That's the kind of crime they commit. And they repeat it over and over again to kind of get better at it. And because also they're kind of psychos. And so you want to put people like that away, because that's how they become like truly a very dangerous criminal, is they rape over and over again. And that you have to put people like this away. Like they have to be they cannot be around normal people. One of the things that this also posits is that somebody like Emma really is one of these people who thinks she's surrounded by people who would break into violence at any time because of this kind of idea of the violent American. You know, that somebody like her is a really good person. She would never use violence. She's the only kind of person who could understand the misguided, violent criminal, rather than she's not facing, because she's kind of a bad person, that criminals are bad people, and that you should separate them from society, because then it would become very clear, whatever you do, no male should ever love Emma Vigeland. Like so many, like what the Passport Bros are really proving is, no, there's a lot of women in the Western world who are unworthy of human male love. And you should get women from places that they know right from wrong and are hardcore on criminals. Like if you're Passport Bros, ask, if you're in the Philippines, did your potential wife vote for Duterte? If yes, bro's glad. Because her mentality is, oh, you rape and pillage, well, see how well you do that from the bottom of Manila Bay. Rather than thinking, oh, well, if we just talk to you nicely, we could get you to understand, and the understanding and the feelings, and, so, yeah, just some thoughts I was having.